after the fact that I reported this, after my telling the prison officials, my mother and brother were publicly executed.
또 저랑 제 아버지는 그 공개청장하는 것을 가장 맨 앞에서 지켜봤고요.
And my father and myself, we had to watch in person my mother and my brother being executed. We were the very first people in line to view this happen before our eyes.
근데 신기한 거는 제가 어릴 때 그 모습을 봤지만은 전혀 감정이 없었다는 거예요.
And what is interesting is that even though I saw this at an early age, I had no emotional response. I had no emotion when I viewed this happen before my eyes.
그리고 제 뒤에 서서 그 모습을 지켜봤던 수많은 정치범 대수들도 저와 같은 마음이었던 것을 느꼈었어요.
And I could feel, and I felt back then that the countless number of inmates who stood behind me, who viewed the same scene unfold before my eyes, I know that they felt the same way also, that they felt no emotion at all.
제 엄마가 목매달아 죽는데도 그 누구 하나 당황하거나 눈을 감는 사람이 다 한 명도 없었어요.
Even though my mom was dying as she was being hanged to death, nobody flinched or nobody elicited a shocking response for the inmates that were watching this scene unfold before their eyes.
이게 수용소의 모습이에요.
This is the reality of the prison camp.
그들은 그들 스스로가 인간이 아니라 그냥 짐승인지 노예인지 구분할 수 없는 그냥 말하는 저는 노예라고 표현하고 싶지만은 그들 스스로가 그렇게 생각하고 있습니다.
Because they themselves consider themselves not human beings, but as slaves, as animals. I would consider them just slaves who are able to just talk, and that's it.
그리고 저는 14살 때 엄마가 형이 도망쳤다고 해가지고 이자금 제가 보여드렸던 감옥에 들어가서 불법문도 당했었고 이제 거꾸로 매달려서 몇 많이 맞았었어요.
And as a result of my mother and brother being caught talking about escaping from the camp, I was led away at the age of 14 to the building that I just pointed out, and I was tortured by fire. I was hung upside down and beaten mercilessly.
14살 때 그렇게 당했는데 지금 제가 30살인데도 그때 그 받았던 매 맞은 자국이라든지 불법에 당했던 거 또 이렇게 묶여있던 자국들이 그대로 아직 제 몸에 남아있어요.
And even though I was 14 years old when I suffered this torture, I'm 30 right now, and I still bear the scars from the fire torture and from the beatings that I received when I was 14 years old.
근데 제가 아까 처음에도 말씀드렸지만 분명한 것은 제가 여러분들 앞에서 이 말씀 드리는 이유는 제가 받았던 고통 때문에 제가 이 여러분들 앞에 서서 이렇게 얘기하지는 않아요.
And I want to say again that I'm not here before you guys to talk about the suffering that I went through, what I experienced in the prison camp.
제가 받았던 고통은 이미 전에 지나갔죠.
The suffering that I went through, it has already happened. It's already passed.
저도 더 이상 생각하고 싶지는 않습니다.
I too do not want to dwell on or to think about what happened in the past.
하지만 아까 제가 말씀드렸던 것처럼 지금 이 순간에도 군 누군가는 저 안에서 저처럼 저렇게 고통받다가 죽을 거고 군 누군가는 끔찍하게 고통을 당하다가 죽는다는 겁니다.
However, what I want to say is that even right at this moment, someone is being tortured, just like I was tortured, probably even worse torture and suffering, and that is happening right now.
제가 어제 학생들한테 이런 말을 한마디 잠깐 말씀드렸던 게 있었어요.
And I also shared another thing with the students at this informal meeting last night.
과거에 있었던 좋은 일은 역사가 될 수 있습니다.
Things that happened in the past, history, that are considered good or positive things, they remain as part of history.
하지만 과거에 있었던 끔찍한 일들은 역사가 아닙니다.
However, I told the students that the horrible things that happened in the past, one would not consider history.
바로 현실만 있을 뿐이에요.
Only the reality of that it happened remains.
1000년 전에도 사람들이 끔찍하게 죽었고 500년 전에도 사람들이 끔찍하게 죽었어요.
1,000 years ago, people died horrible deaths. 500 years ago, people died horrible deaths as well.
60년 전에도 사람들이 끔찍하게 죽었고 지금도 사람들이 끔찍하게 죽고 있다는 겁니다.
And we see from recent history, 60 years ago, people died horrible deaths, and even now, people are dying horribly.
그런데 그거는 왜 우리는 역사라고 생각해야 되는 거예요?
But why do we have to look at that and say that's history?
과거랑 똑같은 일이 계속 지금도 일어나고 있는데 우리는 계속 역사라고 생각하고 있다.
What happened in the past is continuing to repeat itself, and it's happening right now.
그러면 우리는 앞으로도 계속 똑같은 잘못만 저지르고 있고 똑같은 가오만 자꾸 범하고 있다는 거예요.
And what I was trying to say is that we will continue to let these things happen in this world.
지금도 여기 계신 분들 제가 말씀드렸던 것처럼 생각하고 있다고 하게 되면은 우리는 죽을 때까지 우리 다음 세대도 절대로 이 문제를 해결할 수 없어요.
And if there are people here continue to let this happen, then the next generation, our children, we will continue to let this happen, and we will not be able to come up with a solution to solve these issues.
제가 질문 받기 전에 여러분들한테 여러분들이 다 아는 사진 하나 보여드릴게요.
And before I start receiving questions, I want to show a picture that I think all of you know very well.
나치 수용소 사진입니다. 여러분들 다 아시죠, 저 사진.
And this is a picture from the Nazi concentration camp, and all of you have seen this picture.
60년 전 20세기에서 가장 최악의 그 끔찍한 일이죠.
This is perhaps one of the worst atrocities that happened in the 20th century.
나치 수용소에서 수많은 사람들이 죽었습니다.
Countless number of people were killed through the Nazi concentration camps.
이 사진 역시 여러분들이 너무나도 잘 알아요.
And I know that this picture too, all of you have seen.
나치 수용소에 있었던 어린이 아이들이죠.
And these are little children who were being held inside the Nazi concentration camps.
여러분들은 저 아이들이 얼굴을 보면서 뭘 느끼는지 한번 좀 듣고 싶습니다.
I want to ask, what do you feel in your heart when you see the faces of the children that are in that picture?
이 사진은 아까 제가 말씀드렸던 거 60년 전에 일어났던 일이에요.
The pictures that we just saw right now happened some 60 years ago.
캄보디아의 킬링필드가 사건이 일어났을 때 그 제스들입니다.
And this is a picture from Cambodia, the killing fields, the prisoners that were arrested by the Khmer Rouge.
이 사진은 40년 전에 일어났던 일이에요.
And this is something that happened 40 years ago.
수많은 사람들이 이렇게 죽었죠.
And countless number of people in Cambodia, the killing fields, were killed, as you can see from the picture.
이 아이가 이 사진을 보면 저희 죽은 유해들을 보면서 뭘 느끼는지 우리 한번 좀 생각해 봤었습니다.
I want all of us to think what that child is thinking as he's looking at the skulls before him.
끔찍한 사진이 있었지만 올릴 수가 없어서 이 사진만 올렸어요. 아마 20년 전에 있었던 동유럽의 코소보 사진이에요.
There are other pictures that I want to show, but they are too horrible to show. But I'll show one more picture. That picture was from about 20 years ago, from Eastern Europe in Kosovo, the atrocities that happened in that area, in that part of the world.
우리는 20년 전에 있었던 저 사진을 보면서도 우리는 지나간 역사라고 생각하고 있어요.
And all of us look at pictures like that and consider it as past history, something that happened in the past.
내가 너무 안타까운 거는 1년 전에 있었던 일도 우리는 역사라고 생각하고 있다.
And what I find most unfortunate and sorry to see happen is that even something that happened a year ago, we look back and say, well, that was history.
60년 전에 많은 유대인들이 600만 명이라고 하는 유대인들이 죽었을 때 누가 책임을 졌죠?
When about 60 years ago, when 6 million Jews were killed, who bore the responsibility?
40년 전에 킬링필드에서 수많은 사람들이 죽었을 때 누가 책임을 졌죠?
40 years ago, when countless millions were killed in Cambodia in the killing fields, who bore the responsibility?
그 누가 책임을 진 사람이 없습니다.
There really isn't any single person or people responsible for these acts.
또 지금 당장 일어나고 있는 일들에 대해서 그 누가 책임을 지려고 하는 사람도 없고 책임을 지는 사람도 없고요.
And there's no one taking responsibility for the atrocity that's happening right now.
제가 여러분들한테 당부시키고 싶은 말씀은
And what I want to tell all of you here tonight is
좋은 일은 너무나도 쉽게 기억하지만 나쁜 끔찍한 일들에 대해서 우리는 너무나도 쉽게 잃어버리는 것에 대해서 저는 여러분들한테 권고드리고 싶어요.
It's easy for us to remember the good things, the positive things that happen, but it's so easy for us to forget the horrible, terrible things that happen.
지나간 과거를 기억해야 되는 게 아니고 지금 당장 일어나는 현실을 여러분들한테 기억해 주시길 바랍니다.
I implore all of you to remember the reality of what is happening right now, right this moment.
제가 여러분들한테 저 사진을 보여드리는 이유는요.
And the reason for me showing the pictures that we just saw is because
내일 당장 아니면 1년 후에라도 여러분들이 다시 저와 같은 똑같은 모습을 보게 된다는 거예요.
It's because a year from now, all of you will probably see similar pictures as what we just seen up on the screen right now.
북한은 충분히 20만 명이나 되는 정치범 제스들을 오늘 밤 당장 죽일 수 있는 능력이 있어요.
The North Korean regime has the ability to kill overnight all the inmates, 200,000 inmates that are being held in the prison camps throughout North Korea.
1년 후에 만약 지금 봤던 저와 같은 모습을 보셨을 때 여러분들은 어떤 생각을 하고 계시는지 저는 궁금해요.
And I'm curious to know, a year from now, if you were to see similar pictures, what all of you would think in your hearts and minds.
눈물을 흘리는 사람도 계실 거고 안타까워하시는 분들도 계실 거고 아무 구경 가고 싶어하는 사람도 계실 거고.
Perhaps there will be people who will shed a tear, who will be moved. There will be some who will not be moved, who will feel no emotion at all.
그 순간부터 여러분들은 바로 범죄자가 된다는 거예요.
And for those of you that feel that way, I believe that all of you that feel that way, become perpetrators that are part of this.
아프리카 사람이든 아시아 사람이든 아메리카 사람이든 우리는 똑같은 인간이죠.
Whether you're from Africa or Asia or from North America, we are all human beings.
인간이 저지른 끔찍한 일에 대해서 같은 인간이 책임을 지지 않으면은 짐승이 책임을 져줍니까?
If human beings cannot bear responsibility for how they treat others, will animals take the responsibility?
질문을 있으면 아무 질문을 적으니까 질문을 있으면 해주세요.
And if anyone has any questions, I will answer any questions that anyone has right now.
My question is about how your parents ended up in the prison and what kind of misdemeanors or crimes or pretended or feigned crimes get you into one of those prisons. What do you have to do to get into it?
제 부모들이 정확히 무슨 죄를 짓고 들어갔는지 저는 사실 잘 모릅니다.
I really don't know what crimes my parents committed for them to be sent to Camp 14.
제 엄마나 제 아버지가 어렸을 때 수용소에 들어간 것만 저는 알고 있어요.
What I do know is that at an early age, very early age, my mother and father were sent to prison camp 14.
처음에 정치범 수용소 들어갈 때가 1965년 정도라는 것만 저는 알고 있어요.
And what I know is that they were sent to the prison camp around 1965, I believe.
사실 제가 수용소 살면서 이렇게 자주 이렇게 아버지나 엄마를 만나는 건 아니지만은 이런 것에 대해서 물어보려고 해본 적은 단 한 번도 없었습니다.
And even though I really didn't have much opportunity to spend time with my parents, I did not have the opportunity, nor did I think about asking my mother and father why they ended up in prison camp 14.
그냥 우리는 태어나서부터 누구 죽을 때까지 이렇게 살아야 되는 것 같아 저희들이 운명이라고 생각을 했기 때문에 전혀 이럴 때 관심을 두지는 않았어요.
That is because we had no interest in finding out why we ended up in the place in the first place, because I and other prisoners felt that it was our destiny, our fate, to be living in this prison camp environment.
다른 수용소에는 다른 정치범 수용소에서는 뭐 어떤 게 있는지 모르겠는데 저희 정치범 수용소에서는 한 가지 시스템이 하나 있어요.
However, I don't know about the other prison camps in North Korea, but in Camp 14 there was one system set in place.
재수들을 더 일을 많이 시키고 또 일을 더 잘 시키기 위해서 이 표창결혼이라고 하는 시스템 하나 만들었거든요.
And there's what's called reward or commendation marriage that was given to prison inmates who worked satisfactorily in the eyes of the prison prison officials.
일 잘하는 재수 남자 여자를 선택을 해가지고 이 결혼을 시켜주는 겁니다.
And they would pick male and female inmates who were deemed to be good workers, and they would pair them in quote-unquote a marriage.
하지만 결혼했다고 해서 같이 살 수는 없어요.
However, it's marriage word only, but these inmates, the couple, they could not live together.
따로 갈라져서 살게 하다가 일 잘해야지만 한 번씩 만나게 되죠.
And they were separated after this marriage, and if they worked well again, then they would be reunited again.
그렇게 어쩌다 보니까 애들이 생겨나는 거예요.
And when they met again, then they would have children, end up having children.
근데 분명한 것은 제 아버지나 제 엄마도 도와들어서 살면서 본인들이 왜 여기서 들어왔고 무슨 잘못 때문에 들어왔고 왜 여기서 살아야 되는지에 대해서 전혀 아무 느낌 없이 살았다는 거예요.
And what I can remember is that even my own father and mother, they themselves did not really question or wonder about why they ended up in the prison camp themselves.
이 중심은 수용소에서 저희들이 알 수 있는 건 아무것도 없습니다.
There was nothing that we could know for those living in the prison camp.
최소한의 글 쓰는 법하고 최소한의 셈 세는 법만 가르쳐주고 있어요.
We were only taught rudimentary arithmetic, adding and subtracting, and a basic education on how to read and write.
보통 저는 모르겠지만은 저도 이제 한국에 와서 이제 들은 얘기들이거든요.
And I really don't know, but I realized this after we settled in South Korea.
북한의 독재자를 욕했다든지 아니면 북한의 독재자에 대해서 나쁜 말 했다든지 한 사람들 경우에는 대부분 다 정치범 죄수로 잡아간다고 합니다.
And I found out once I settled in South Korea that people in North Korea are sent to the prison camps if they are found guilty of defaming the name of the regime leaders, or somehow making fun of the regime leaders, or saying anything negative about the regime leaders. And for these reasons, they will be sent to the prison camp.
너무 황당한 얘기지만 신문에 나와 있는 독재자의 사진을 모르고 그냥 담배를 말아 피워도 정치범 수용소로 들어간다고 해요.
And we know from testimony of other North Korean defectors that some North Korean citizens were sent to the prison camp for unknowingly unintentionally rolling up a newspaper that had a picture of Kim Il Sung or Kim Jong Il, rolling that up and using it as a cigarette, and being caught for that. And for that reason, as silly and bewildering as it may be, for that reason, people are sent to the political prison camps in North Korea.
결국은 독재자는 자기가 보고 자기가 마음에 안 든다, 아니면 못생겼다, 아니면 뭐 저 사람 보기 싫다 하는 사람들인 경우에는 다 정치권 손으로 다 잡아간다는 거죠.
So what I'm trying to say is that the whim of the regime leader, if the leader found somebody to be ugly or did not like that person, for whatever minute reason or trifling reason it may be, these people are sent to the prison camp at the order direction of the regime leader.
Thank you very much for sharing your story. My question is, how are you able to maintain a positive outlook on life and, I guess, hope for the North Korean people?
사실 도망치고 나서 사실 제 스스로도 많이 변했죠.
After the escape from North Korea, I can say that I changed a lot.
제가 24년 동안 수용소에서 살면서 단 한 번도 누구를 도와준다든지 또 누구를 위해서 살 수 있다는 걸 꿈에도 생각해 본 적이 없어요.
During the 24 years of my life living in the prison camp, I never imagined or thought about helping others or doing something to the benefit of other people.
수용소 안에서는 그 누구도 자기가 살고 있는 환경 외에 다른 감정을 품는다든지 또 여러 가지 누구를 도울 수 있는 감정을 품을 수 있다는 건 꿈에도 생각할 수가 없죠.
And it was beyond anyone's imagination, or it wasn't possible for people in the prison camp to think about any other emotion to help others or to do anything that would be of benefit to any other people.
내가 내 동료들을 감시하고 내가 내 부모들을 감시해가지고 조금이라도 잘못하는 게 있으면 무조건 갖다 신고를 해야 되는 게 수용소의 시스템인 거죠.
The system of the political prison camp in North Korea is one where children, inmates would monitor or spy on their parents, and inmates would tell on each other to the prison guards and prison officials.
근데 저는 지금 이 자리에 서가지고 수용소 안에서 고통받고 있는 사람들을 여러분들이 좀 알아주고 그들을 위해서 뭔가를 해달라고 지금 포설을 하고 있습니다.
However, I'm standing here before you tonight and pleading with all of you to remember the people that are still in the prison camps and to do something for the inmates that are in the prison camp.
수용소 안에서 짐승처럼 너희처럼 살았던 나도 누군가를 위해서 일할 수 있다는 그 감정을 저는 알았던 거예요.
And what I'm trying to say is that I come to know or find out the emotion for my own self, the emotion and the feeling of working and doing something to help other people. That I found that.
사실 저들을 구할 수 있는 시간이 별로 없어요.
Truthfully speaking, there isn't much time to help or to rescue the people that are still in the prison camp in North Korea.
시간이 얼마 안 남았다는 거예요.
And there isn't much time left.
그래서 저는 조금이라도 관심 있고 조금이라도 또 저의 말을 원한다고 하게 되면 그 어디든지 간에 저는 찾아갑니다.
That is why, no matter how small it may be or wherever it may be, if someone asks me to come and speak about this issue, then I would gladly go and visit and talk.
1년 후에는 제 모습이 어떤 모습이 될지 모르겠지만 지금 당장은 그들의 고통을 덜기 위해서 조금이라도 뛰어다니면서 이렇게 얘기를 하고 있는 거예요.
And I don't know where I will be or what I will be like a year from now, but to remember the people that are still in the prison camp, that is why I'm continuing to speak out on this issue.
지금 하고 있는 일 외에 다른 일은 지금 해보지 못하고 있어요.
And besides this activism for North Korean human rights and for the prison camp issue, I'm not doing much else right now.
Hi, thank you very much for your story and taking the time to come and speak to us. My name is Carla, and I'm a student here in political science. And I study how civilians survive armed violence, and I focus my work mainly in Africa, in South Sudan. And I was very taken by your story, and I wanted to ask you more about in a place of the extreme violence and extreme control, how did your thoughts come to escape something that is so forbidden? And I kind of see this kind of imagination of escape as a form of resistance to the system. So I'd be happy to hear your thoughts on that.
많은 사람들이 제가 도망친 것에 대해서 굉장히 궁금해하고 또 그 얘기를 들으면 굉장히 좀 황당해하시죠.
Many people are surprised and when they hear about my reason for escaping.
제가 탈출하게 하려고 했던 직접적인 동기는 사실 별거 아니에요.
And my reason for escape, for wanting to escape, it's not really a big reason that I wanted to escape.
삶은 닭을 먹고 싶어서 도망쳤거든요.
I escaped because I wanted to eat boiled chicken.
네, 진짜입니다.
That is the truth, everyone.
2004년도에 제가 일하는 공장에 이제 밖에서 새로 들어오신 분이 있었어요.
In 2004, when I was assigned work at a factory, a new prisoner who was sent to prison camp 14, he had been living in the outside world.
그 사람을 통해서 나는 처음 이제 수용소 외에 바깥 사회에 대해서 알게 됐습니다.
And through him, I heard for the first time stories of the outside world.
많은 얘기를 해줬지만은 제가 보지도 못했고 듣지도 못했었기 때문에 전혀 믿지는 않았었어요.
And he told me a lot of stories, but I really could not believe the things that I was hearing, the things that he was telling me.
하지만 그 사람이 바깥에서 먹었다는 음식들에 대해서는 굉장히 큰 관심을 가졌죠.
However, I had great interest in curiosity. I had great curiosity regarding the food that he described and what he ate and what other people ate outside the prison camp.
수용소 안에서는 뭐 돼지도 있고 닭도 있고 여러 가지 먹을 수 있는 짐승들은 굉장히 많습니다.
Within the prison camp system, there are a lot of animals, pigs, chicken, and other things that are available as food for the prisoners.
하지만 수용소에서 만든 법에 죄수들은 함부로 이런 걸 먹을 수 없다고 법을 만들어놨기 때문에 전혀 우리는 먹을 생각을 못했어요.
However, one of the rules of the prison camp was that these animals, without the permission of the prison guards, these animals were not meant for the prison inmates. They could not touch this or eat these animals.
하지만 수용소 밖에서 사는 사람들은 자유롭게 자기가 먹고 싶은 음식을 먹고 산다는 거예요.
However, what I heard was that prison people outside the prison camp, they could freely eat whatever they wanted to eat.
그래서 저는 그 사람이 먹었던 음식들에 대해서 굉장히 머릿속에 계속 상상을 했었습니다.
Therefore, I began to start imagining and daydreaming and thinking about the food that this man was describing to me.
그분이 저한테 그런 얘기를 해주면서 내가 겪어보지 못했으니까 굉장히 이제 좀 재미있게 얘기를 많이 해줬었죠.
And because I never experienced eating these types of food, he, in a very fun and interesting way, he would describe to me the different types of food that he ate and that other people could eat outside in the free world.
물론 거짓말도 많이 섞어서 얘기를 해주셨던 거죠.
Of course, looking back now, I think he exaggerated a lot of the stories that he was telling me about the food that he ate.
그때 그 사람이 저한테 얘기를 해줄 때게요. 수용소 철조망만 딱 넘어서면은 바로 내가 서 있는 바로 앞에 삶은 닭고기가 있다고 그랬어요.
And one of the things that he told me was that the moment I stepped outside the electrified fence, there would be a boiled chicken ready for me at my feet.
저는 그걸 가서 그냥 손으로 지금 먹으면 된다고 했어요.
And he said that you could just grab that chicken and with your hand and start eating it.
진짜로 그렇게 저는 믿었어요.
And I really believed that would happen, that was the truth when he told me at that time.
근데 그때게요, 제가 내일 당장 총에 맞아 죽어도 오늘 단 하루만이라도 그 사람이 먹었던 삶은 닭고기를 먹으면은 내일 당장 총에 맞아 죽어도 저는 아무 원한이 없다고 그렇게 생각이 들었었어요.
And I started thinking that even if I were to attempt to escape and get shot and get killed, if I could just taste the food for one day, I would want to escape and experience and taste the food that he was telling me about.
오늘 배불리 정말 배불리 시커 먹고 내일 총에 맞아 죽자. 저는 그 생각이었어요.
So my thought was, I'll fill my stomach, be full, and I will get shot and killed tomorrow. That was my attitude or my thought, my thinking process at that time.
그래서 둘이서 이제 그 탈출을 이제 계획을 막 크게 세운 건 아니지만 탈출을 이제 하게 됩니다.
So the two of us started thinking and planning escape, and we attempted to escape.
하지만 철조망을 넘어오면서 저랑 같이 나오시던 분은 이제 전개 붙으시고 저는 이제 철조망을 넘어왔어요.
However, unfortunately, the other prisoner, in the process of going through the fence, he got caught in the electrified fence, and he did not make it out. Whereas I was able to come out from the fence successfully.
그때는 그 사람이 왜 총기 철조망에 걸렸는지 몰랐었지만 지금 생각해 보면은 그때 전기에 붙어서 이제 저렇게 걸려 있지 않았나 하는 생각을 하게 돼요.
At that time, I don't know why he could not make it out successfully, but looking back now, I believe obviously that he was caught in the electrical current, and he was stuck in the fence, and thus was not able to make it out successfully.
너무나도 황당한 얘기인데요.
And this is a very unbelievable story.
철조망 넘어오고 나서 제가 그 삶은 닭고기 거리는 한참 찾았습니다. 실제로.
I really, once I crossed the electrified fence, I really started looking for boiled chicken.
하지만 삶은 닭고기는 볼 수는 없었죠.
But of course, I could not see or find the boiled chicken.
만약 제가 지금 이렇게 여러분들한테 지금 우습게 지금 이렇게 말씀을 드리고 있는데 실제로 사실 이게 도망칠 때에 너무나도 안타까운 일들이 일어났었습니다.
And of course, right now I'm sort of retelling the story in a humorous way, but there were many unfortunate and bad things that happened in the process of my escape from the prison camp.
사실 전기 철조망이라는 거는 사실 넘기 힘들어요.
Of course, the electrified fence is a very difficult obstacle to go through.
가수들이 너무 똑똑한 사람들이기 때문에 저희들이 쉽게 그렇게 철조망을 넘어가게끔 만들지 않거든요.
The prison officials, prison guards are very smart people, so they would obviously not make it so easy for the prison inmates to be able to escape via the electrified fence.
근데 이제 그분이 먼저 전기 철조망으로 넘어가면서 그렇게 좁은 사이에 그 전기줄을 이제 눌러놨었기 때문에 제가 그분의 동을 타고 넘어갔던 거죠.
But looking back now, I believe that he was the other gentleman was the first person to cross to go through the fence, and he unfortunately got caught in the fence. But I believe he, through his body, was able to stop the current. That allowed me to safely cross through the fence.
제가 정신없이 사다리를 한참 뛰어내려가서 그 다음에 정신 차려서 봤을 때에 이 사람이 뒤따라 안 내려왔던 거예요.
And I realized that after I crossed the fence, I was running mindlessly through the mountains, and I realized that my friend, my fellow inmate, was not following me. He was nowhere to be found.
제가 지금 이런 생각을 한번 해봐요.
And this is something else that I think these days.
그때 제가 조금 정말 눈꽃만큼이라도 이 인간이 가지시는 감정만 있었다고 하게 되면은 제가 이분을 구하지 않았나 하는 그 굉장히 큰 아쉬움을 하고 있어요.
And one disappointment that I had is back then, if I just had just a little trace of humanity in me, a little bit of emotion in me, perhaps I would have stopped and tried to rescue my fellow inmate that was caught in the fence.
그때 당시 저는 너무나도 아쉽게 여러분들이 너무나도 궁금하게 생각하고 있고 인간이 가지고 있어야 그런 여러 가지 감정적인 것들이 전혀 존재하지 않았다는.
And what I'm saying is that at that time, what is so normal and acceptable and so common for all of us, I did not possess at that time humanity, emotion, and desire to help others.
지금은 모르겠습니다. 이 사람이 그 전기부에서 죽었는지 아니면 잡혀서 끔찍하게 검을 당했는지 아니면 공기청을 당했는지 지금은 알 수 없어요.
And I don't know specifically whether he survived or he was arrested and tortured and then publicly executed, or he died in the fence. I have no idea as to his fate right now.
분명한 것은 상상할 수 없는 고통이 그 사람한테 가해졌다는.
What I can say for sure is that unimaginable suffering and horrible suffering is what he went through.
I work for an NGO that does international human rights advocacy, and we work in a lot of countries where 5 years ago or 10 years ago you would have thought that change was impossible. So we have projects in Egypt and Myanmar, but at the same time, I look at North Korea and I can't for the life of me fathom a way that that regime could be stopped or that situation could change. So I was wondering if you, in your mind, could understand or conceive a way where, in the short term or medium term, things could really be substantively improved in that country.
사실 히틀러 독재자가 등장하고 그렇게 했을 때에 전 세계 사람들이 그 누구도 히틀러가 그렇게 빨리 망할이라고 생각해 본 적이 한 게 없었을 거예요.
I believe that when Hitler first came to power, no one at that time probably realized that his ruin and his end would come swiftly just a few years later.
캄보디아에서 끔찍한 필리핀족에서 끔찍한 일들이 일어날 때에 그 누구도 저게 멈춰질 줄은 생각해 본 사람이 전혀 없었어요.
And probably no one thought too that when the killing fields of Cambodia occurred, no one thought that this horror would come to a quick end as well.
하지만 너무나도 쉽게 그런 정말 악착한 독재자들은 너무나도 빨리 끝나버렸죠.
However, these dictators, these horrible dictators, their end came too quickly, in my opinion.
북한도 언젠가는 저 끔찍한 상황이 끝난다는 겁니다.
And what I would say is that even North Korea, someday, that horrible situation will come to an end.
근데 그게 언제 끝날지 저도 잘 모르겠어요.
But of course, when that will happen, I myself do not know when that will occur.
내일 당장 갑자기 올지 아니면 뭐 1년 후에 갑자기 올지 그건 누구도 모르겠어요.
It could happen tomorrow or a year from now. No one can say for sure when this will happen.
북한 사람들이 생각했을 때에 저 김정일이 독재자가 저렇게 80살도 못 살고 70살 살다가 죽으면 누구도 생각 못 했을 거예요.
The North Korean people themselves, they would have never imagined that Kim Jong-il, he would not live to see 80 and he would die just past the age of 70. Nobody would have imagined that in North Korea.
하지만 북한 사람들은 김정일이가 70살 살고 죽는 걸 단 두 눈으로 봤죠.
But of course, the North Korean people saw and realized that Kim Jong-il did die at the age of 70.
그리고 모른지 그들은 마음속으로 이런 생각을 했을 겁니다.
And probably the North Korean citizens said this to themselves in their heart, the following thing.
저렇게 죽지 않고 이렇게 생각했던 사람들 저렇게 죽는데 우리들이 고통도 언젠가는 끝나지 않겠나 하는 희망을 품게 됐을 거라고 저는 생각을 하거든요.
And I believe that these North Koreans would have probably thought, well, even somebody as Kim Jong-il, who people thought would never die, would live on eternity, even they end up dying, and perhaps even our lives would improve someday, somehow, soon. And I believe that's the hope that they had when they witnessed Kim Jong-il dying.
지금 당장 굉장히 실망스럽지만 제 눈에도 북한이 언제 변하고 어떻게 변할지 전혀 눈에 보이질 않아요.
For me, I really cannot see North Korea a change happening or the regime coming to an end.
언젠가는 분명히 끝날 텐데 그 그와 반대로 굉장히 중요한 문제가 있습니다.
It will come to an end someday, but there's another important factor regarding this.
독재자는 망하지만은 그 독재 밑에서 죽어야 될 사람들, 또 죽음을 기다리는 사람들을 어떻게 해야 된다는 개념인 거죠.
The fact is, the important question is, dictatorships will come to an end and dictators will die. But what about the people that have suffered under the dictatorship and suffered under the dictators? What will happen to them?
여러분들이 지나간 역사라고 생각하는 그 과거를 통해서 너무나도 잘 알고 있지 않습니까?
And of course, all of you know through past history what we've seen happen in history regarding this point that I just made right now.
독재자를 망하게 하고 독재자를 처단하기 위해서 방법을 찾는 게 아니라 그렇게 죽어가는 사람들을 살릴 방법을 찾는다고 하게 되면 독재자도 당연히 어떻게 독재를 끝날 수 있는 방법이 저는 나온다고 생각해요.
And my opinion, I believe, is that not so much work for solutions or to find ways to end the dictatorship, but to help the people that are suffering under the dictatorship or the dictators. I believe that's the way we should help the situation.
그거는 제가 할 일이 아니라 바로 여기 앉아 있는 여러분들이 할 일이라고 저는 생각합니다.
And I would say that work is something that I cannot do, but it's up to all of you here tonight for you to do that work of helping the people that are suffering under the dictatorship.
이걸 가만히 있으면은 바로 언젠가는 여러분들이 그 책임을 져야 된다는 거죠.
Because if we just let it be, if we just let the situation, if we don't take care of the situation, all of us will become responsible for it soon down the road.
아무 생각도 없는 멍청한 독재자한테 책임을 물을 수는 없습니다.
Because we cannot tell a stupid dictator, irresponsible dictator, to bear responsibility for what he's doing.
책임을 물을 수 있다고 하는 정도면은 그래도 감정이 있고 눈물이 있는 사람들한테는 물어야지.
We have to ask people who have humanity in them or emotional responsibility in them for them to be able to say, this is for us to be able to say to them, this is your responsibility to take care of the situation.
제 답변에 어떻게 만족하셨는지 모르겠지만은 제가 그럴 수 있는다면 저도 잘 모르겠다는 거예요.
And I don't know if my answer is satisfactory, sir, but my answer is that I really don't know, in a way, the answer to the question that you just asked me.
Do you believe the regime believes its own propaganda?
당연히 북한 사람들은 너무나도 확고하게 그 북한에서 독재자가 주장하는 세력을 너무나도 잘 믿고 있어요.
The North Korean people themselves believe completely the propaganda that they are taught and told by the regime.
만약 그렇지 않았다고 하게 되면은 저 북한 사람들도 저 시리아 국민들처럼 싸웠었고 이집트 사람들처럼 싸웠을 거예요.
If not, then we would see the same thing happening in North Korea, what we see happening in Egypt, and what we see happening right now in Syria.
하지만 너무나도 아쉽게도 북한 사람들은 그렇지 못합니다.
However, the North Korean people cannot have a similar uprising like what we see in the other countries.
하지만 저는 북한에 수용소에서 살면서 단 한 번도 김일성, 김정일에 대해서 교육받아본 적은 단 한 번도 없어요.
And when I was growing up in the prison camp, I was never taught about Kim Il-sung or Kim Jong-il or the Kim regime.
북한 정치범 수용소에서는 그런 교육을 시키지 않았기 때문에.
The prison camp where I was born and where I grew up, they did not educate or they did not teach that to the inmates in the prison camp.
시킬 필요가 없었던 거예요.
Because they deemed it unnecessary or we were unworthy of learning about the Kim regime leaders.
근데 제가 부안에서 배울 수 있었던 게 이 정치권 수용산에서 지켜야 하는 10가지 법하고 규정이었었어요.
But what I learned was the 10 rules and the regulations of the prison camp.
그 가장 첫 번째 문구가 도주할 수 없다. 도주하면 총살한다 했었어요.
And the first rule was that prisoners cannot escape, and if caught escaping, would be shot to death.
그걸 6살 때 처음 배웠거든요.
And I learned that at the age of 6. That's the first thing I learned at an early age.
저는 그걸 진짜로 믿었어요.
I believe that. I believe that rule.
그리고 누구 죽을 때까지 이 안에서 그렇게 살다가 조금이라도 잘못하면 공소에서 총살 당하게 나는 것에 대해서 너무나도 당연하게 생각합니다.
And I thought that it was only right and natural for me to believe that anybody caught attempting to escape would be shot and killed.
저는 북한 사람들이 이렇게 독재자가 만든 시스템에 독재자가 만든 너무나도 황당한 그런 이론에 대해서 이렇게 우리가 믿어야 된다는 걸 좀 너무나도 아름다워요.
And I find it very unfortunate that the people in North Korea have to believe these things that are told by the regime to the people.
유독 북한 사람들이 너무나도 잘하는 게 하나가 있어요.
However, there's one thing that the North Korean people can do very well.
그거 하나만은 진짜 잘합니다.
And they can do this very well.
바로 죽는 거 하나는 너무나도 잘해요.
And that is that they can die very well. Dying is one thing that North Koreans can do exceptionally well.
굶어서 죽고, 공개 체험으로 죽고, 정치권 총사에서 끌려가서 죽고.
They can starve to death from hunger. They could be sent to the political prison camp. They can be publicly executed in North Korea.
그리고 중국으로 여자들이 팔려나와서 고통스럽게 살다가 죽고요.
And North Koreans, when they become refugees, specifically North Korean refugee women, they can be sold into human sexual trafficking rings in China and die miserable deaths that way.
북한 여자들은 중국에 팔려나와가지고 엄청나게 끔찍한 고통을 당하고 있습니다.
North Korean women who end up as refugees in China suffer unimaginable and unspeakable horrors.
이렇게 우리가 고통을 당하면서도 누구 하나 이것에 대해서 잘못했다고 반항하는 사람이 단 한 명도 없다는 거예요.
And the sad thing is there's no one that is rising up against the injustice and the suffering that they're going through, that the North Korean people are suffering from.
저도 이 문제에 대해서 확실한 답은 없지만 너무나도 끔찍합니다.
And I too cannot give you a specific or satisfactory answer to the question, but I find it very sad and unfortunate the situation that I see.
Thank you for making your way here. Myself and my colleagues were so humbled by the fact that you reached out to us over Facebook, seeing the project we had undertaken. And my question is this, and we're very humbled by it. With the important figures that you see, the important conferences that you go to all around the world, and the powerful presidents that, hear the words that you speak at these conferences, what brought you to Halifax? What made you see our cause worthy of canceling everything you had for us?
제가 이런 일을 하다 보니까 많은 사람들을 만나게 됩니다.
Through my work for North Korean human rights activism and in my work for telling the world about the prison camp issue, I've come to meet many important people all across the world.
정치인도 만나봤었고요.
I've met politicians.
국회의원도 만나봤어요.
I've met members of parliament and Congress.
대통령도 만나봤었고요.
I've even met presidents of various countries.
제가 느낀 게 하나 있어요.
There's one thing that I felt though after meeting all these people.
제가 만났던 이런 높은 사람들, 이런 유명한 사람들은 절대로 북한 문제를 해결할 수 있는 답을 찾을 수가 없다는 거예요.
And what I've come to realize is that these important people of power, they cannot come up with a solution or find answers to help the North Korean people.
제가 그 답을 하기 전에 잠깐 제가 스토리 하나를 말씀드릴게요.
And before I go into answering your question, I want to relate a story to all of you tonight.
제가 16살 때, 어린 나이 때, 제 동료들이랑 같이 그 땅속에서 석탄을 캐는 땅속에 일하러 들어갔었습니다.
And when I was 16 years old, with my fellow other prison inmates, we went to go dig in the mine shaft for coal.
6명이 들어갔었는데 불은 딱 하나였었어요.
6 of us went in, but there was only one lantern or one source of light for the 6 of us.
그 불이 언제 죽을지도 모릅니다.
And we don't know when this light source will go out, when we will lose the light.
땅속은 굉장히 깊은 곳에 있었어요.
Of course, we went very deep into the coal mine.
우리가 일을 다 마치고 나오다가 그 불이 죽어버렸어요.
And after we completed our task on the way out of the coal mine, the light died out on us.
6명이 너무나도 깜깜한 그 동굴 안에서 정말 어두웠었지 않죠. 앞에 볼 수도 없었고 뒤에 볼 수도 없었고.
6 of us were engulfed in total darkness. We could not see in front of us. It was so dark.
하지만 그 누구도 제 동료들은 한 명도 없었어요.
However, none of us became panicked or became excited when that happened.
무서워서 그렇게 불을 떠는 동료들 한 명도 없었어요.
None of us started shuddering or shaking in fear.
우리는 그때 불 죽었을 때에 서로가 손을 잡고 전차가 다니는 걸 레일을 타고 나오기 시작했어요.
What we did was we held each other's hands and we followed the coal mine, the rail way. We followed that to find our way out from the coal mine.
근데 너무나도 깜짝 놀랐던 거는
And what was most surprising was
그 깜깜한 데서 제 동료 하나가 레일을 타고 밖으로 나오는 방법을 알았다는 거예요.
And what was most surprising for me was that one of my fellow inmates knew how to follow the railroad tracks, the coal mine rail tracks, and to come out, to get out of the coal mine despite the darkness.
그래서 저희가 손을 잡고 얼마나 시간이 걸렸는지 모르는데 굉장히 지루했었어요. 그래서 이렇게 천천히 우리가 레일을 타고 이제 계속 움직이기 시작했죠.
However, we held hands and it was very laborious and very long and somewhat boring process of finding our way to the exit by following the railroad track.
한참을 나오다가 보니까 앞에서 바늘구멍만한 하얀 점이 보이는 거예요.
And after a long time of crawling and walking, at the end of, you can see a tiny, almost a pinhole-sized white dot appeared before my eyes.
그때 그 바늘구멍만한 하얀 점을 보면서 우리 모두가 다 소리를 질렀었어요.
And when we saw that little piece of white needle-sized dot, we exclaimed in excitement and joy.
언제 끝날지 모르는 그 어둠 속에서 우리가 밖에서 들어오는 빛을 봤던 거예요.
And that is because we did not know when this darkness, how long it would go for, but we finally saw the end of darkness through the pinhole-sized light that we saw.
우리는 그때 그 하얀 빛을 보면서요. 비록 몸은 제수 몸으로 살면서 항상 우울하고 항상 그 고통 속에 살았었지만은 그 단구멍만한 빛을 보는 순간에 저희들은 그때 행복이라는 말은 몰랐었는데 굉장히 큰 행복감을 느꼈었던 것 같아요.
And we as prisoners, we had lives that were very miserable. We suffered continuously. But for us, even though I did not know the meaning of happiness, at that moment when I saw that pinhole-sized ray of light, all of us, I myself, we felt this joy at seeing this light.
제가 이 헬로텍스에 오게 됐던 것도 그 빛을 찾아서 온 거예요.
And my reason for coming to Halifax was because I saw that light here.
우리는 지금 모두는 터널을 걸어가고 있어요. 우리 북한 사람들.
The North Korean people are walking a dark tunnel right now.
분명히 언젠가는 그 어두운 터널이 끝나겠죠.
And someday that dark tunnel will come to an end.
제 개인적으로는 이 헬로텍스에서 바늘구멍만한 빛을 본 겁니다.
Personally, I saw that ray of hope, that pinhole-sized light here at Halifax at Dalhousie University.
그 어떤 정치인이나 그 어떤 유명인을 만나서도 볼 수 없었던 빛을 이 헬로텍스에서 본 거예요.
What I could not see or did not see in meeting countless politicians and powerful people, I saw here at Halifax at Dalhousie University.
여러분들이 추운 길거리에서 캠페인을 하는 거 보고 저는 그 감동이라고 몰랐던 전혀 배워질 수도 없고 전혀 느낄 수도 없던 그 감동이라는 것을 저는 느꼈었어요.
Seeing pictures of all of you, the students, in the cold, protesting and campaigning in the street, seeing that, I experienced something that I could not experience before, which was emotion and overcome and being emotional, watching and seeing the photos and the videos.
어떠한 유명한 대통령이 세상을 바꿀 수는 없지만 여러분들이 힘을 합치면 세상을 바꿀 수 있잖아요.
A famous politician or well-known, powerful politician cannot change the world, but all of you students here can make a difference and change the world.
Can I ask some question in Korean? Because I'm not good at English. Speaking English. 정확하게 잘 모르시면 좀 바보같이 들릴 수도 있지만 그 간첩이라고 소위 말하죠. 제가 그게 있는지 없는지 잘 모르겠지만 이런 활동을 하면서 방송에도 타고 이러면 분명히 북한 정부에서 그걸 알 건데 그런 간첩이나 스파이에 대한 두려움, 거기서 죽음에 대한 두려움은 없으신지, 단체로 혼자 다니시는 건지 아니면 여러 사람의 보디가드라고 해야 되나? 그런 경호원들하고 같이 다니시는 건지.
The question I want to ask about asking Korean, the question is, it may come as a somewhat stupid question, but my question is, you are doing all these activism, you appear on many media outlets, And my question is, there are a lot of spies or agents of the regime that are out there, and do you ever feel fear, or do you ever worry about that, and for some of the other events, do you appear with bodyguards or have security?
북한은 저에 대해서 너무나도 잘 알고 있죠, 지금.
The North Korean regime, it knows very well what I do and about me right now.
제가 너무나도 싫을 겁니다, 북한에서는.
The North Korean regime probably hates my guts right now.
제가 여기 캐나다 오기 전에 그 제네바에서 제네바 유엔에서 하는 행사에 참가했었거든요.
Before I came to Canada, I was participating at an event hosted by a big NGO in Geneva.
제가 그 행사에서 발표를 하고 나와서 이제 버스를 기다리고 있었습니다.
And after my presentation at this event, I came out of the event location and I was waiting for the bus to go back to my hotel.
근데 이제 북한 예고관이 그 버스 종료소를 지나가다가 저를 보고 저를 향해서 손가락질하면서 저를 욕하고 있었어요.
What happened was I saw a DPRK, North Korean diplomat, posted to Geneva to one of the UN bodies, pass me by in the street, and he looked at me. He pointed his finger at me, and I could see that he was cussing me out. He was cursing me.
뭐 북한 정부에서 정말 인내하고 있다가 정말 인내의 한계가 다다르면은 뭐 저에 대해서 어떤 행동을 하겠죠.
And I believe the North Korean government, in a sense, they've been very patient in the way they've been dealing, or not dealing with me. But I believe even that patience has a limit, and I'm sure they will somehow, some way, respond or reply to my activism and my work.
여러분들 잘 알고 계시는 표현이죠. 자유는 그냥 자유가 아니다라는 건 아십니까?
And all of you know the well-known phrase, freedom is not free, or freedom is not something to be taken for granted.
저는 그 표현을 너무나도 좋아합니다.
I really love that phrase.
제가 피를 흘리건, 제가 아닌 다른 사람이 피를 흘리건, 우리는 언젠가는 그거 각오를 하고 마음의 준비를 해야 된다고 생각을 하고 있습니다.
Because I believe whether it is myself that bleeds or anybody else that bleeds, we must take that phrase regarding freedom into heart, and we must take that seriously.
그렇지만 뭐 누가 저를 감시하고 따라다니고 하는 건 아직까지 느낄 수 없었지만 마음의 준비는 하고 있습니다.
However, I really haven't felt anyone monitoring me or following me around, but I am prepared mentally and emotionally to deal with whatever may happen regarding this issue.
올해 1월달에 한국에서 간첩이 하나 잡혔어요.
Earlier this year in South Korea, in January, a spy was arrested by the South Korean authorities.
근데 너무나도 유감스럽게도 그 올해 1월달에 잡혔던 굉장히 큰 이슈가 됐던 그 간첩이 제 친한 친구였어요.
Unfortunately, this spy, this North Korean spy that was caught by the South Korean authorities, he was someone that was very close to me. He was a good friend of mine, or I considered a very close and dear friend of mine.
1년 전에는 그 친구랑 그 친구 집에서 제가 한 달 동안 같이 이제 먹고 자가면서 머물렀어요.
A year ago, I even spent 1 month living with him, staying at his house, sleeping in the same house, under the same roof, eating with him, and spending time with him for over a month with this spy that was arrested.
주로를 펼치진 않았더라고요.
And apparently, well, he didn't cause any harm to me while I stayed with him.
모르겠습니다. 언제 그런 일이 일어날지.
So I really do not know when sort of danger that I'll be facing regarding the spies and the North Korean agents.
하지만 그런 거를 무서워했다고 하면 제가 할 수 있는 일이 아무것도 없어요.
However, if I'm fearful of that, if I live in fear of what I may experience regarding the spies or agents, there's nothing I can do. I cannot continue this work and this activism. So one more question.
이 친구가
He just said, my friend is kind of heavy.
Let's not make it 3.
This is just me speaking, but we've been treated very well, delicious food, and I think I've been eating too much this week. You might walk.
I'm just wondering, I
televised tours run by various organizations where they're kind of shown a very tightly controlled version of North Korea by the regime. I'm just wondering how you felt about these tours and these people that have gone to see North Korea like this.
이따 혹시 그렇게 저한테 많은 그런 같은 질문 하시는 분들이 굉장히 많아요.
I do receive that, get that question a lot regarding visits on these tours and other high-profile visitors to North Korea.
물론 그렇게 관광을 가면 북한 독재자는 자기가 보여주고 싶은 건 보여주고 항상 감시를 한다는 것도 저는 잘 알고 있고요.
And I know for sure that these visits and these tours, the regime, the leader of the regime only wants to show what they want to show on these visits of North Korea.
그리고 관광 가신 분들이 북한에서 돈을 쓰고 있을 때에 돈을 펑 쓰면서 그렇게 즐기고 있을 때에 그 사람이 서 있는 발밑에서는 수많은 사람들이 고통적에 신음하고 있다는 거예요.
And what I'm saying is these tourists, these visitors, when they spend money and enjoy their time in North Korea, while they're doing this, on the ground that they're standing on, countless souls are crying out in desperation and in misery and suffering.
관광을 가시는 분들은 막을 수는 없지만은 그 사람들이 정말 북한 안에 들어가가지고 보여주는 것만 보고 느끼고 나오는 게 아니라 정말 보여주는 것 다 외에 그 너머에서 정말 고통 속에 신음하는 사람들이 그 사람들이 조금이라도 신음소리를 듣고 나왔으면 하는 거예요.
And we cannot stop these people that want to go on these tours from actually going on these tours to North Korea. But what I want for these people to do is to go to North Korea and just to see beyond what the regime just wants to show them, and to come back and to see and hear the cries of the suffering people, and to experience and to acknowledge and experience that, and then come back from North Korea for these tours.
솔직한 심정을 말씀드리고 싶은 거는요. 저는 관광을 반대합니다.
And honestly speaking, I oppose these tour companies and these tourist visits to North Korea.
관광을 하면서 그 사람들이 쓴 모든 돈들이 다 독재자가 밑에 들어가고 독재자가 쓰고 싶은 대로 쓰기 때문에.
Because all the money that these tourists spend in North Korea, it goes to the regime and the regime leaders only.
독재자는 자기가 먹고 싶은 거 먹고 자기가 마시고 싶은 거 마시고 이렇게 살게 되죠.
Because the dictator, through the revenue earned from these tours, he will fill his stomach, he will eat whatever he wants to eat, and he will have an enjoyable life.
늦은 시간까지 제 부족한 그 말씀을 들으셔서 대단히 감사합니다.
And I'm lacking in many ways, but I want to truly thank all of you for coming tonight and listening to my story. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for coming this evening. We've heard, again, I believe one of the most difficult, one of the most trying stories of the human condition. And we also heard a request to say that this could be the pinhole of life. And I would take that very seriously. I would find ways to keep engaged, to continue to work at it, to get in touch with the students who organize this, to get in touch with Shin Dong-hook himself. And I think what we can do is we can start this conversation, be it here in Halifax, and make sure that as Shin goes around the world telling his story, we will do our part to tell it with him. Again, thank you very much for coming out tonight.